How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you. But
Yo, okay, all right. This thing right here, I didn't mess with any of this stuff. Like, this is true. I didn't just mess with the text. Holy crap. This is literally ChatGPT was gaslighting me.
Him going up there, and when he gets a hostile question, he's hostile right back. He makes jokes, he laughs, he gives real answers, and I think people are going to respect it.
And a lot of people like to call Tim a liar. So I want to see Tim's take, and then I'm going to watch it for myself. The whole water bottle conspiracy theory that Tim was trying to drum up was a little overfluffed. Let's just say that.
Where
Sir,
I have a hostile judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
You're the one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
Let's go. Let's go. Holy crap. Let's go. All right. Debate pro tactics, but hey, I like it.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign.
Are they ever going to get to work? Or how are they supposed to get their kids to school? Like, people don't understand how much we live underneath the fossil fuel industry. Our infrastructure is insanely tied to it. All right, hello. My name is Mr. WhyzGuy, and welcome to, we're going to be watching Trump stuff, but I need to show you the backstory and why I'm doing the whole Trump stuff. So welcome to Tim Cast. Yeah, we're watching Tim Cast IRL, and let's just look at this for a split second.
Let's jump to some domestic politics with this story from the Post Millennial. The big domestic news is that Trump spoke at a black journalists conference, and the Post Millennial says he effortlessly handles hostile questions at black journalists conference in Chicago. I've only seen clips. Libby wrote this one up. But the clips that I've seen from Donald Trump, it's
amazing.
It's amazing. He doesn't play games. He doesn't pander. And I think he knew this is what the Libertarian Convention should have been.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, yeah, this is why I'm watching it. And I was listening. I didn't know that Trump did this. And hey, look, you see this? You see this right here? Yeah, you see this color? You see how it's not like this? You see how this is not like everywhere else on my arm? Well, yeah, that's why we're going to be watching it. So let's see what Trump has to say to the Black Journalist Convention. And I'll give you my thoughts. And you might probably can foreshadow on what I'm probably going to say. But hey. Tim said it perfectly. He doesn't pander. And you know what? I like that. So yeah, I have the full video right over here. But let's listen to Tim for a split second.
Him going up there, and when he gets a hostile question, he's hostile right back. He makes jokes, he laughs, he gives real answers, and I think people are going to respect it.
And a lot of people like to call Tim a liar. So I want to see Tim's take, and then I'm going to watch it for myself, and I want to see how close does Tim and what actually happened in the video, and how close, and let's see if, Tim's a liar and lies about everything. What a freaking Destiny, I guess, would probably say. Probably not the way that I just said it, but he'll make that argument, and it's stupid. Like, Tim's not going to be right for everything, but I don't think Tim's a liar. Like, what?
He entered this knowing that they're going to ask hostile questions and insult him, and he's going to push back because he might actually...
Oh, yeah, and anyone who doesn't know who Destiny is, I'm talking about the political streamer that does... he does political streaming, but he used to be a gamer, and... now he just does like e-drama streaming stuff. So he's big on the whole lefty sphere, but has become basically irrelevant on the actual like serious sphere of political content. At least for US politics for right now. But yeah, that's slight backstory for anyone that doesn't know who he is.
Win 5, 10, 20% by being real and not pandering, because there are people who don't want to be pandered to.
True. Donald Trump speaks at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention, held, and it's by a YouTuber called WUSA9. So yeah, let's watch.
We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time. So let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
All right, I already have a criticism. Why is audio only playing in my right ear and not my left? That doesn't make any sense to me. Come on, man. Why is the why is the audio stereo more in my right ear than my left ear? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm going to have to, I don't know if I can even fix that in a post, in editing. If I can, then I'll try my best. I'll figure it out. Also, I'm going to put this on 1.5 speed because apparently my brain is able to, like, my reading comprehension is like, what, kind of, it's good, but it's slow. But I can listen to people speak way faster than what a normal natural human being can understand. I think it was because I kept watching Destiny. Destiny speaks really quickly, so I guess I'm just really good at listening. But yeah, tell me what you guys think about that specifically in the comments below. And it also makes the video a little bit shorter, so let's go.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your...
I'm already disagreeing. Like, what? Why shouldn't he be here? What? He's supposed to talk to the black community. What? Like, the black community is a part of America. He's running to be president. What? How is that something that you're not supposed to be? What? He's not supposed to be here to see what the black community has gripes about him for? Bro, no. This is mad respect. He actually showed up to actually hear what you have to say. He could have not come. And you guys would have just been like, well, he's not supposed to be here anyways. Like, what? But he still came anyways. That just gives me respect. That just shows how much he actually cares.
Rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from.
Bro. Let's just keep going. It's a bunch of stuff taken out of context. Let's just say that. That's the shorten what she's saying right now. It's just a lot of stuff taken out of context. Like some of the things, like there's a kernels of truth of what she's saying, but it's obviously not. She's making it seem like he meant to say it in a specific way when he didn't. He said those words, but you got to listen to what he was saying around it. Like he didn't just make a statement and that was it. Like there's a whole lot of context that she's missing, keeping out of this. But let's just continue.
You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
After you've used language like that. Well, guess what? It's taken out of context, so you can like shut the fuck up. That was stupid, but whatever. Wait, hold up. Look, we're in the first 30 seconds. The first thing she ever says to the guy is being very freaking hostile. This is what he's dealt with as soon as he sits down. Hostility. Come on, man. What is he supposed to say to that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First
exactly.
Question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country.
He is a billionaire. He does not need to be here to pander. He does not need to be here to talk to you. Like, what is he going to gain more money by talking to you guys? Like, what? Talking to my community. I keep saying you guys because I feel like I'm not a part of them because they say some of the most unhinged stuff, and I don't want to be a part of a community that says the most unhinged things to this guy. So sorry if I keep saying like, oh, that community when I'm obviously a part of that community. But yeah, so I'm gonna go back just a little bit.
Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network, and I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done.
Sorry, but I have not watched this. So I saw clips on the Timcast IRL thing. That's why I wanted to show the Timcast IRL thing first. And now that's why we're going to watch. And I'm going to stop cutting him off now.
And so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, you know, and I say this, historically, black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them and I gave them long-term financing and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction.
Which is much better than just giving a flat, let's pardon everybody's like student loan debt and somehow pay for it and then increase inflation. No, Trump actually did something more specific for the specific community because he actually cares about the specific community, not some blanket sweeping thing and say, hey, it's helping everybody and the black community. Hey, look, black community, you see this? Yeah, we're doing something for you, but it's for every single person. Like, come on, Biden. Come on, Biden. And what Biden tried to do was obviously like unconstitutional, and the Supreme Court said that, and then Biden just pushed it in anyways and did it. I think he like revised it or whatever, did some sort of revision to make it slightly less unconstitutional, but he still tried to push it in anyways. And I think it went through, but then it was blocked by the Supreme Court. I wonder why.
I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further.
Because it was
I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense, and then you said you can't do it.
Oh, Kamala didn't come to the black convention because she didn't think she needed the black vote, obviously. Like, she's like, look at me, I'm black. So, like, obviously the black community is going to vote for me, right? Like, look at Obama. He wasn't really the best president for the black community, but he still got voted in for a lot of black people because skin color, man. Skin color. And there's a lot of truth to that. Man, my parents, they were so happy when Obama won. Holy crap. And then when I asked them, like, oh, what did you vote for him? He was like, first black president. I'm like, okay, skin color. I was a little kid, so I was like, oh, cool, yeah. That's cool. It's cool. Like, I didn't know politics when I was that young, but okay, let's keep going.
With Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I have something to say about that. Look at this. Look at this. So this is from this channel, right? Yeah. ABC News Hour. Look how long this thing is. Look at this. An hour of nothing. An hour. Literally. Just nothing for a whole freaking hour, right? And then we keep going. An hour and 10 minutes. And then there we go. That's when we start. An hour and 11 minutes. And now, yeah. When Trump says, oh, we didn't start in 45 minutes, like, bro, that was an understatement. Oh, but Trump lies all the time. Well, okay, fine. He under-exaggerated this. I guess he was lying, right? Psh, bro, give me a break.
I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working, or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
think
you
it's
to
a
answer
very
the
nasty question. I have answered the question. I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer. Obviously,
that's an over-exaggeration, but you know what? I might actually agree to that because, like, Obama, he was better than Obama for the black community, 100%. And if anything, he actually has the numbers to prove it. Like, he says some annoying things and distasteful things, but it's not like he's attacking the black community. But some people may take it that way, and that's kind of stupid. Because you just got to think like 2 seconds into what he's actually saying. And then you'd be like, oh, he doesn't actually mean the black community. He just means those people in that specific location. Like, and his vocabulary isn't the best. So what do you expect? Like, you expect Obama level of speak ability? Like, he's just a wealthy billionaire that just decided to go into politics because he got a little butthurt. And then he found as soon as he came in, I think that was the driver. And then when he finally actually came into politics, he saw all the support that he was getting from a lot of different communities, and he's like, yeah, actually, let's keep doing this. They actually believe in me. Let's do this. Let's keep going. Like, why not?
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
For you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a definition then. Would you give me a definition of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me, if you
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is...
Just saying what the acronyms isn't actually defining what the word is. Like, what does that mean? Like, that's just saying what it is. But what does that mean? Diversity hire, DEI hire, diversity, inclusion, or whatever hire. But like, what's so bad about having a diversity hire? Like, define, like, why me saying that is a bad thing? Like, tell me, like, what's wrong with getting a diversity hire? That doesn't make it, like, I think that's what Trump is trying to get at, which is actually, I was expecting this level of debate broness of him. Not gonna lie, wasn't expecting this level of debate broness, but interesting. Yeah, define it, man. Define it.
Is only on the ticket because she is a black woman.
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that she's
somebody...
True. That's true. Like, yeah, Democrats pander. Like, whenever it suits them, like, we don't care about being Indian anymore. I'm black. Like, I didn't even know Kamala Harris was Indian, because I didn't know Kamala Harris until she came into politics. And when she came into politics, she only said that she was black. And then maybe, like, the only reason I knew that she had some Indian and Jamaican in her is because, well, I watched Tim Pool. I don't get any history for what was before she came into politics, which is good. Like, but that's what Democrats do. They change the way that they say things to certain people just to win votes. They are really good at that, because a lot of people that don't pay attention will just listen to it and be like, yeah, it does feel good to say that, right? Because honestly, I think the Democrats are just the feel-good party, to be honest. The feel-good party. And Trump is like, I'm just going to tell you what it is and tell you how it is. And if you don't like it, well, that's just too bad, I guess, right? And that's what I like about him. That's honesty right there. He will tell you what it is, whether you like it or not. Like, bro, he does not care. He's a wealthy billionaire. He doesn't need more friends. He already has, like, all the money and all his family. And, bro, like, come on, man. His kids love him. Like, and his kids-in-law love him too. Like, bro, can you say the same for Biden and his sons? Like, okay, whatever.
You should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I
Republicans
really don't know.
have said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, who's a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length, and we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well, you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop.
That is a really good, that's a tough, but actually good faith question. I like this girl, this lady, good on you. Good on you.
People from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr.
they're taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people,
true.
probably 15, 16, 17 million.
It's a sad reality, but it's true. It's just having having the people, the immigrants / illegal immigrants, like just having them pour in like this is obviously it's disproportionately taking away like jobs from the black community. Like that's just true. It's a fact. Whether you like that fact or not is up. Like fine, your feelings are hurt, but guess what? Facts don't care about your feelings. Like he's gonna fix what's the sad realities of this country, and people just want to ignore the sad realities of this country, and that's why they don't like him, because he speaks what actually is going on. And yes, it's a little sad to kind of admit that, but that's just reality. He wants to fundamentally fix the parts that are actually broken with this country. And I respect that. And he's able to just say it. He didn't say it in the most graceful way, but hey, like his vocabulary isn't the best. Come on now. Like this is just the way he speaks. You're not going to change that.
People, I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even...
There's been some back and forth on whether Kamala was actually the border czar or not. So I'm not 100% sure, but I know she was supposed to go do something about it. So yeah, I can agree with him, but on the overall point of what he's trying to make about Kamala Harris, whether she was the border czar or not, it's up for debate. But that's just a semantical argument. It's stupid. Like she was obviously a big player in making sure the border is like secure. Whether she was called a certain thing doesn't matter. Like. Whoever's going to make that stupid argument is just going to, you don't, like I said before, if they're going to make a stupid semantical argument like that, because of the specific words that Trump uses, like the overall point is still correct. If anyone's making that dumb argument, they're not really worth listening to, honestly. That's what I meant to say.
Population is affected most by that, and Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs, and frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one
Actually, I have let's just say I have real life experience with what he's talking about. Let's just say that.
thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails, they're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners, they're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same. It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts. And this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single black moms, when you look statistically. How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you.
Yo, okay, all right. I mean, that's a good, the lady in the pink, she has the good questions. Holy crap. I have mad respect for that lady. The lady in the blue, hostile, very, not good faith, but okay, Trump, that's a response and a half. Please answer the question, Trump. Please answer this question. I want to hear what you have to say about that.
But I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community probably as much or more than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the...
Literally was going to ask that. I'm like, you are saying, yeah, what's the plan? What's the plan? Yeah, I literally was going to ask that question.
Cost of energy. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community probably as much or more than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way,
I mean, yes. Joe Biden basically erased the Keystone Pipeline, which would have brought gas prices down, which would trickle down to every other thing that requires transportation to get things places, because transportation runs the entire world. Without transportation, you don't get food, you don't get your boxes from Amazon, you don't get anything. You don't even get to work. Transportation, people take gas for granted. How gas stations always have gas. What if all the gas stations just ran out of gas one day? What are people going to do? They're going to start walking? They're going to start biking? Probably. But are they ever going to get to work? Or how are they supposed to get their kids to school? People don't understand how much we live underneath the fossil fuel industry. Our infrastructure is insanely tied to it. And people take it just for granted. We just go to the gas station, just get some gas. It's kind of expensive, but we know when we get there, we'll be able to buy it because it actually exists. He's on the ball with that. We got to fix energy. Energy is literally what makes the entire thing work. Without energy, nothing works. And if energy goes up, everything else slowly goes up as well, because everyone needs energy, and they put the cost analysis into how much gas do we need to put into these trucks in order to get this thing from one location to the other. They put that into their cost factor. Everyone else pays for it. Like, that's just how the world works. Like, there's no transportation company that's going to be like, oh, you know, gas prices are just going up, but we're just going to not mark up our stuff to like match the prices of how much we have to pay in order to get certain items to a specific location. Like, that's just not going to happen at all. Like, what? Like, bro, like, he's on the ball with that 100%. Let's go. That is definitely a good solution. It's a very high and kind of over generalized solution for specific things. And I would like a more specific thing from him, but I like that he's actually thinking about energy. And that is a really good move because that's an over encompassing thing. It's very similar to what Biden did with the whole student loan thing that I was kind of bashing Biden a little bit. Biden could be a little bit more specific with the black community, and Trump should be a little bit more specific with the black community with this one. But this is a good answer. I think this is a good answer. And the reason why I give credit a little bit more leeway on Trump's thing than Biden when he does his thing is because Trump has always been doing this. He's always been talking about gas since 2016. Like, it's not like he's changed that position. Biden, student loan debt, like, when has he ever, like this is just, that was something he just came up on the spot. Like, you know what, student loan debt, that sounds right. That sounds good, right? Yeah, let's just do it. Biden doesn't actually care. Trump actually cared, and he cared from the beginning.
Just, if I might.
So what do you do? What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just, if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls. And then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history.
True.
And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going and maybe something happens.
His poll numbers crashed, and like the I think the DNC or some sort of organization for the Democratic Party just withhold $90 million or $90 billion from the campaign. Like, they were like, yeah, we pledged, but we're not going to keep pledging anymore because we don't want this guy. And basically bullied Biden out of the race. Like, bro, not just, like, it was so bad that he ended up losing millions of dollars. And that was insane. People were like, nah, we don't like you. Get out, or you're not getting the money. Like, bro, they quid pro quo Biden. They basically quid pro quo Biden to get him out. Oh my God, that was hilarious when I heard that. I was like, bro, after that debate, people were like, even in the DNC, were like, nah, we don't want this guy. We don't want this guy. Come on, man. We should get Kamala in there. You know, she has black skin. Obviously, she's gonna get the blacks vote, right? But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Happens the other way. They said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight. A prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing what you say. Let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say.
Like, look at Democratic-run cities. Like, most of them are kind of trash. And then look at the Republican-run cities, which they're a lot fewer in between, but hey, they're not as bad as like what's going on with the democratically run cities, which is very interesting. And look at by per county, not by per state, because there's a lot of blue. There's like Texas is red, but Dallas, the whole city, is basically blue, and it's not the best. And well, New York. But they'll be like, oh, look at Dallas, Texas. That's a red state. And then when you actually look at like blue or red in per county, you see that basically all of Dallas is blue. And you're like, oh, I wonder why it's so bad there. I wonder why. Red state, blue city. Okay. Good job, people, taking that stuff out of context.
Gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient heating. Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58, whatever it may be. They don't add all the numbers. They don't add the...
Yes. Like, bro, he doesn't have all the numbers, but he's like saying the truth. Oh, they'll fact check and say it's 58. So true. Oh, that's hilarious. Let's keep going.
Really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely They don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr. President, can I ask you another question that is also impacting Black Americans?
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed Black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You said police would get immunity for prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah. Well, police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But again,
are they going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
Well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine
you
an
go
innocent
after
mistake?
somebody, and it's a very close call, and it's very dangerous. And, they have the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing, because sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision. And sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly.
That's that's a tough subject. That's a very tough subject. And those are some really good answers to that, actually. Not gonna lie. It could be better. It definitely could be better for what he's saying, but these are not bad answers. They're okay. They're okay answers. It seems like he's trying not to say something in a specific way, but it's Trump, man. His vocabulary is not the best, but I do like these answers, but that's because I already like the guy. But in a general sense, these are okay answers. There could be better, but I accept these. Is basically what I'm saying, in my opinion.
I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system.
True.
I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult case. And I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time. And he had 50 years worth of documents. And
yeah, they're talking about the whole Biden thing underneath when Biden was the vice president underneath Obama, and the whole, let's just call it the quid pro quo thing. Yeah. So that's what he's talking about how like Biden doesn't have immunity because he wasn't president at the time, which I think that's what he's referencing to, which he technically wasn't. He was only the vice president at that time. So, yeah.
They ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent, and Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time, and he had 50 years worth of documents, and they ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent, and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent.
That's true. They actually did say that. They ruled that Biden wasn't competent enough to actually commit the crime, so therefore he wasn't sophisticated enough at the time to even come up with the scheme in the first place. So that's why, even though there's evidence that he actually did do that, it's not like he was mentally there to understand that he was actually breaking any rules. So, like, you don't charge a toddler for trespassing if they accidentally cross a barrier. Come on, man, it's a toddler. They don't know what trespassing is. Like, the official statement from the courts, that's their official statement of why they're not prosecuting Biden. And it's kind of sad. But hey, Kamala's running now, so it doesn't really matter.
They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and so, therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to
I didn't notice you do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where
sir,
I have a hostile judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
Excuse you, you're the one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
Let's go. Let's go. Holy crap. Let's go. All right. Let's debate pro tactics, but hey, I like it.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate, and do you agree with him?
No.
J.D. Vance, he also said that Trump was Hitler. So take that with what you will. Like J.D. Vance, I don't really have too much of a big opinion on him. All I know is that he said a lot of things that has to take back from like a long time ago. But I think 4 years ago, he basically said, yeah, Trump could be Hitler, or took it out of context or something like that. But he's been hit by those statements again, and he's disavowed all the things that all the statements that they say. Like he's not trying to, like JD Vance is not just running away from like those questions. Like when he gets asked, he's like, yeah, I did say that, but I don't actually believe that anymore. Like my stances have changed, and he's not running away from it, which is actually very admirable. I like that. He's not some Democrat being like, well, I didn't actually mean that. I said, like, he's not coping and giving an excuse to why he said it. He's like, yeah, I said that, and owning up to it and being real is like, and let's just move on. Like that happened 4 years ago. Come on now. The thing that Trump said about the whole grabbing thing, that was like what, in 2006? Yeah. Yeah, I said it. It was locker room talk. That was 2006. Almost 20 years ago. Like, come on, man. Let's move on. Like, bro. But okay. Like they like to give gotcha questions from like years ago, of like statements that people said from years ago, and be like, so what do you think about this? I know he said that like 4 years ago. Like what do you think about this? But let's see how Trump's response to this.
Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate, and do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family oriented. And he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here. He also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your
I think I'm speaking for him, too. He strongly believes in family, but I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family, and the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him, actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family-oriented. But that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
That's good that he says my interpretation. He's getting good at actually being super combative. Like, holy crap, any Democrat, like imagine if Kamala Harris was here and there's a bunch of white people asking her these really difficult questions about what do you think about the white community? Like maybe you see all these issues. Why haven't you done any of this? And you see these terrible quotes that you kind of like, could be misleading of what you said about like the white community in the past. Like, bro, what would Kamala do? Like there's zero like this guy is flying through these questions. Holy crap! In tremendous speed. Like, where's the chopped up version of him gaffing all the time, like how Biden would be? And I really want to see Kamala Harris and Trump debate. I want to see that because Trump now, whew, it's like he took like lessons from Destiny for debate tactics. Holy crap, let's go.
Just one last point and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's...
I actually would agree with that. Because if you have a family, you're obviously more invested in your kid's future. So you're much more invested in wanting to make your kid's future better. So I actually kind of agree with that statement. Like, yeah, if you have kids, you should probably. But I think some people may misuse that system. You can just say, do you live with your kids? Like give a bunch of like qualifying questions to like make sure we don't have any bad actors that may abuse the system, like get through it. Like we already do that with like the gun system. Like you have to go through background checks and all that stuff. Like we could just come up with another type of system that works with that. Like I actually would support that, but I think he doesn't agree. But okay.
more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I've ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now you have illegal aliens coming into our country, and many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happening. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs to people that have come into this country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. Yeah. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too. Everybody out there can, but
I'll tell you why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room. But you have many of those people, they were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contact, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult, with the mother and the father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the Law Journal. I mean, that's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction for 4 years, got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in business, actually. Did public offerings and other things. And I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book. And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family. But he had he's made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator. And so, Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. Actually. We've been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next. Yeah. And 2 days after that,
I cannot understand your microphone.
I know, it is really hard for me to understand you.
I can understand you perfectly.
Because she's closer.
I can understand you.
Happy to hear that.
But I can't understand, Harris.
I have a few more questions.
Because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand what you're saying.
So what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic. Because I asked you...
Oh, so this is the part where Trump picks up the water bottle. Let me go back and actually see that, because I didn't know when he actually did that. Let's see. I'm going to see, because he picks up the water bottle, right over here on his table, when obviously he has one over here. You can't really see it because my freaking head's in the way, but you'll see it as soon as it moves.
Because she's closer.
I can understand you.
Happy to hear that.
But I can't understand, Harris.
I have a few more questions.
Because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand what you're saying.
So what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic. Because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president. Yep. And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would, you choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris. And that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at J.D. Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him. And for the other candidates, too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented.
Okay, so the water bottle thing, because I just wanted her to finish her question before I actually interrupted. The water bottle thing, I think that was just a weird quirk. I think that was more of a mental thing than him consciously thinking about something. That was more of a habit that he he has. I don't know. It could be. Yeah, I'm trying to psychoanalyze that system. I don't think he was really conscious of picking that up, twisting it, and then putting it back down. Just my little hypothesis. I'm just spitballing for the whole water thing. But let's continue.
Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons than what we're talking about. Not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way, and I think J.D. is. I think that all of them would have been. But you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
J.D. Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, well, I mean, my point is here.
It was said in a friendly manner.
My point is,
True.
do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the death of a baby after the baby is born, based on the governor of Virginia. Based on the governor of Virginia, they're allowing the death of the baby after it's born. They're allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well, Democrats have denied.
I think they're right, and I think the Republican Party
Is that illegal? I thought it doesn't. Like, she said it's illegal in every single state. Like, no, that's not true. Colorado has said, like, up until, like, just no, it's not illegal, period. Up until birth, like, that's it. But yeah, this is true. Like, you're just gonna have to believe me on that one. Like, there was a phone call, some sort of thing on some sort of podcast where they said, yeah, we'll deliver the baby and we'll have a talk about whether we should, what we should do next with the mother. And that's basically hinting at, well, the baby's there, the baby's alive, it's been delivered, but now you're going to start talking about whether you're going to abort it or not. Like, just because you take the baby out because of the procedure of an abortion, and the baby's still alive outside when you take it out, but you're not finished with the abortion, because in order to abort, you have to like you have to delete. You can't just take it out and have it alive. That's not an abortion. That's giving birth. But if you're giving birth in the process of doing an abortion, how is that, like, would you categorize that as giving birth and then killing it and then deleting it? Like, I don't know. Like, that's a bit weird, which is what's actually going on in some states. So the lady that's saying, oh, this is illegal in every state, is just pulling that out of her flap. I wouldn't say that. Just pulling it out of her, you know what.
Is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps. But the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it, everybody.
But the majority of Americans oppose Roe v. Wade being overturned.
They don't know about this. Right now they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing. Out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting, and it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on, and they're voting.
Yeah, now basically the overturning of Roe v. Wade just brought it back down to the states. So they're not capped on what types of rules they can put on the abortion thing. So some states can, like, everyone liked it, because now states, we can do in a per state on whether you should give an abortion or not. The federal version of it basically made it so that you couldn't put restrictions on abortion. Like, it was backwards. And now that it's gone, states can actually now have their own version of it. So it gives more choice. Like, this is a good thing. Like, states get more choice into, like, doing this, but it also opens up Pandora's box, and, like, now we need more strict definitions of what a life is and stuff like that, because it was very vague before Roe v. Wade was a thing. It's not that big of a deal, honestly. Like, it's not something that's going to tear the country apart, whether someone can abort something or not, and whether we have more choices or extreme choices for that type of thing or not. So yeah, that's my take on that.
And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting. And it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Most people believe in the 3 exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do? We execute the baby.
Yeah, he's mentioning the actual quote that the Virginia governor has said before. Yep, that was what I was talking about. I could pull it up, but this video is going to be extra saucy long. I don't feel like doing that right now.
That's a radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quickly to another question about, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally.
True.
He shot. But most people, I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world history, the greatest leaders, some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated
Oh, my goodness.
me, and I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a nasty, that wasn't a question. She didn't ask me.
True, man. Like, that opening statement was hostile as hell, man. Holy crap. Like, do I need to replay it?
Question.
She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated your statement.
True.
You said you would. You would.
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If I
to step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them, and I aced them.
Well,
I took 2 of them. But let me ask you,
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have the millions of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to our country, and her too, what they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Don't mean to interrupt you, but would you consider taking a cognitive test?
Mr. President.
I would love to
And
do
make it public.
Well, I've already taken 2.
Yeah, he's already taken 2 of them. Like, why are you asking the question? He literally answered your next question, but you still decide to ask it? What? Like, what is this?
But I'll do it again.
Mr. President, how do you...
Country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Don't mean to interrupt you, but would you consider taking a cognitive test?
Mr. President.
I would love to
And
do
make
it.
it public.
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr. President, how do you intend to...
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her, too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
The bar is very difficult. The bar is very difficult. I can't really blame her on that one. She failed her law. Maybe Trump didn't say specifically the bar, but maybe he's referencing to the bar, but he doesn't want to say the actual bar. So, hey, he could be playing politics here, but I'm not going to look that up. Why would I? I'm biased, obviously on his side, but hey, at least I'm honest about it, unlike some people called Destiny.
Mr. President,
You're saying she wouldn't pass. Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
to be clear, you don't think
I'm
Harris
just
how do you
giving the
intend...
facts. She
And
didn't
look,
pass her bar exam, and she didn't think she would pass.
Wow, actually, he just said it. True. Let's go. He said it. He said it. Oh, look at the honesty. Oh, Trump lies and tries to take things out of context, but then he says it anyways. Holy crap. Wow. I couldn't even tell that he was going to do that. Like, bro, I was going to give him a pass for not even mentioning it, but he mentioned it anyways. Like, bro, let's go, man. Let's go. Good on you, Trump. I was not expecting that. 100% kudos to him.
And she didn't think she was going to have to pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it.
She did pass it.
There's a man over here. I think he must work.
Mr. President, I would love to ask you about January 6th.
Hold up. Let's see. Is he lying about that? Did Kamala pass the bar? Let's look that up right now. Oh my God. Okay. I apologize for any confusion in my previous responses. The Snopes article you provided text indicate that Harris initially failed and eventually succeeds with her bar exam accurate. So yes, holy crap. So we went from, all right, we're going to start from the beginning because I'm going to cut most of this stuff out. So I just went down a whole trail of rabbit holes of going into Snopes here, right? And what Trump said is true. Oh my God. Claim. Okay. So this is the claim. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris failed the California bar on her first attempt soon after she graduated from 1998. Now, it says that statement is true, but then gives the context. Harris eventually succeeded in the California bar in 1990, a year after she graduated from school. Yeah, that's true. Trump said that she didn't pass her bar exam and only left it at that. Maybe there's more context in this video, but I paused it right after he said it. Maybe he might say, well, he did, it's been so long since I've been on the video. I've been just all over ChatGPT. Okay, so this is what it said first. Did Kamala Harris pass the bar exam? He said, yes, she passed it that's true. Passed it in 1990. Did Kamala Harris fail her bar exam? That's what I wrote. No, Kamala Harris did not fail the bar exam. She successfully passed it in the California 90, her legal career. Okay, all right. Did Kamala Harris pass the bar exam at least once? This I made out of error. 100%. So ignore this answer. So did Kamala Harris fail the bar exam? That's what I meant to say. No, there are no public records. ChatGPT says no, there are no public records for that Kamala Harris has failed the bar exam at least once, and she passed the bar exam on her first attempt She passed it on her first attempt and was admitted to in 1990. She did not pass it on her first attempt, and I finally, after all that, did Kamala Harris, I was like, no, that's wrong. Did Kamala Harris fail her bar in 1998? Because it was specifically in 1998, 1989, 1989, not 1998, 1989. No, Kamala Harris did not fail her bar exam in 1989. Wait, what? This is a true statement from Snopes, and it still says, no, she did not fail the bar exam, but that's true. That's a true statement, but it says it's not. Now, I asked again, Vice President Kamala Harris passed the bar exam soon on her first attempt, soon after she graduated in 1998. I literally just took this quote, right? This whole thing that they say this is a true statement, posted into ChatGPT, is this a true statement? And ChatGPT says, no, that statement is inaccurate. Kamala Harris did not fail the California bar exam on her first attempt. She had passed the exam and was admitted into California state, and there was no records, incredible sources indicating that she failed the bar exam in 1989. Credible sources. Wait, is Snopes not a credible source? And then I started saying, what is your definition of a credible source? Why ask this? Because Snopes... I think I might have typoed. Why ask this? Because Snopes, I believe, is a credible source, but you say that it's not because it is true that Kamala Harris did Phil. I meant to say failed. That was a typo. That might have skewed why it said that, but still. But ChatGPT is smart enough to see that I did a typo. I'm not going to give ChatGPT a pass on that. Failed their bar exam in 1989, at least once. A credible source, generally defined as a okay. Regarding Kamala Harris, the bar exam history, Snopes is widely considered a credible source. So you think you think Snopes is a credible source, which this is Snopes, but you still say that what this statement is. Snopes says that this statement is true, and you think Snopes is a credible source, but you're just ignoring the fact that ignoring the fact that Snopes said that that's true. A credible source said that's true, but you're also saying no credible source has actually said that that's true. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I continued on. Snopes fact checked. This is when I actually put the actual statement into here as a true statement of fact. So why do you say there's no verified source of Kamala Harris failing the bar exam? Okay, and then it says, I apologize for any confusion. To clarify, Kamala Harris did not fail in 1989. More lies. This is just a lie. It has to be a lie. The claim that she did is inaccurate, according to Snopes, as well as other reliable sources. Like what? Wait, according to Snopes, this is not a true statement? What does this true state rating mean? What? I'm gonna reload this right now. There we go. I'm gonna hit the reload button. I'm just gonna spam it. Just gonna spam it. Look at that. Still true. I didn't mess with the elements or this thing right here. I didn't mess with any of this stuff. Like, bro, this is true. I didn't just mess with the text. Holy crap. And this is literally ChatGPT was gaslighting me. ChatGPT was gaslighting me. Holy crap. How many times did Kamala Harris do the bar exam? Kamala Harris only took the bar once and passed it. Bro, okay. No. Kamala Harris did not attempt the bar exam no, I should have put a comma here. Kamala Harris did not. Oh, no. Kamala Harris did attempt the bar exam at least once, at least twice. That is the true statement. So why do you say no? The information available for credible sources, including official records and well-regarded fact-checking platforms, indicate that Kamala Harris has passed the California exam on her first attempt. There is no verified reports for or credible evidence. It basically just keeps lying. Okay, Snopes.com says that it's true, and then I literally give it the link that I'm trying to make it say no, what you're saying is false. And it keeps doubling down saying, no, there's no credible source, even though it thinks that Snopes is a credible source. But I guess it's just ignoring that Snopes is a credible source for a second there and just lying about that. I appreciate your patience. Upon reviewing the information that you've provided, I see that Snopes does address the claim that Kamala Harris failed the bar exam on her first attempt in according to 1989. According to Snopes, this claim is incorrect. What? What do you mean this claim is, according to Snopes, this claim is incorrect? What does true mean, ChatGPT? They report that Kamala Harris passed the bar exam on her first attempt. For clarify, yeah, okay, all right. And then I literally got so mad. I got so mad. And then I said, no. All right, so I literally did all of this right here, all of this is me going into here, scrolling down just a little bit and copying all of this, posting it from Snopes, because apparently it said that it read the link, but forgot to mention any of this nonsense. Posted it here and tell me, and tell me if you think what they're saying is false and why. And then finally, thank you for providing the text from the Snopes article. Based on the details you have shared, it appears that Kamala Harris did indeed fail the California bar exam on her first attempt, but subsequently passed it on and was admitted to the bar in 1990. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Holy crap. Thank you. My God. How long did I I'm gonna have to edit this thing down to like the nth degree. Holy crap. Turn the auto system back on. We turn big now. Oh my God. This is just, my brain has been fried. I almost don't want to continue the rest of the video. We're gonna continue it, obviously.
You've called yourself a
Mr. President,
you're saying she wouldn't pass. Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
To be clear, you don't think
I'm
you're
just
How do you
giving you the
intend,
facts. She didn't pass her bar exam, and she didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to ever pass it, and I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it.
She did pass it.
There's a man over here, I think he must work.
Mr. President, I would love to.
Look at that. And he kind of concedes like, yeah, maybe she did pass. He doesn't outright say it, but yeah, what he's saying is true. Kamala Harris did fail it, but then eventually passed. He's leaving a little bit of context out there, but he is saying that, oh, look, a guy did say that he passed. So Trump is like, yeah, maybe she did, but he's not going to concede to it instantaneously on a very divisive, especially from the lady from the blue panel, like just immediately. But like he is giving some leeway. He's like, yeah, someone did say that, so maybe. But I did hear that she didn't pass it at least once. True. That is a true statement. He is leaving a little bit of context out there, but hey.
Ask you about
Trump.
January 6th. You called yourself a candidate of law and order.
Like, when has someone taken Trump out of context before? Like, bro, I think he's allowed to take some certain things out of context sometimes. Whatever.
When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely. Sure. You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted.
He literally thought that this was his water bottle. Remember the thing that I talked about the water bottle in the beginning? He literally, he didn't know that this was his water bottle. He picked it up because he was going to drink from it. And then he was going to say something, so he decided not to drink from it. He thought this was his water bottle. He literally thought, because he literally just drank from it. Like, what? Obviously, he didn't realize there was a water here for him to drink from. So he took it from right here. Like, okay, all right. Conspiracy theory gone. Like Tim was talking about, why did Trump pick up the water bottle? Like, that was her water bottle, like, obviously. But Trump, it seems like Trump didn't know that because he just picked it up, drank from it, and it looks like he's going to put it right back down. But yeah, the whole water bottle conspiracy theory that Tim was trying to drum up was a little overfluffed. Let's just say that.
That day. Their injuries included broken bones. At least one officer lost an eye. One had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs. Another.
Remember, Tim loves his conspiracy theories. Like that, you just got to know about that. But you know what? Tim owns it, so that's why I like Tim. He actually owns it and doesn't pretend to be like, oh, I'm some unpartisan person that's always like unpartisan and don't have a leaning or bias in any way. Like how some people, Destiny does on a daily basis, calling him a centrist. Okay, good job, Destiny. Your credibility just went down the drain, and your the way that you don't how you mislead your fans is disgusting. So, all right.
Another had a stroke.
Talking about
Were the people
Destiny.
who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Well, let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol, a horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite.
Oh, but we don't care about that Capitol riot. No, we only care about the riots that happened on January 6th. People just don't understand how normal it is for the Capitol to have riots at the Capitol. Like, they don't realize how many times that happens per year. Like, holy crap! Oh, but this time it was an insurrection. But no one knows about this one. What happened to this riot at the Capitol? Huh? Like, bro, people focus on like the most stupidest things, like, because they don't like someone. Like, it's just dumb. Like, Destiny, where's your video on that, huh? Where's your video on the Capitol? Because since that's such a big issue for you, like, okay, all right, credibly down the drain, like Destiny, inconsistent, 100%.
With red paint, red spray paint, that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. It'll never, you'll see it in 100 years from now.
That's true. He's built a lot of hotels, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe not by himself, but like, he's talking to people that built it, so he understands.
Viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that destroyed that city? What's going to happen to the people that tried to...
those rioters who assaulted officers.
Would you pardon what's going to happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You would pardon those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just well, they were convicted by a very tough system. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis, how come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle, how come nothing happened to them? How come the people
we're talking about people that were seen beating officers with flagpoles, dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that video, sir?
Really? Well,
you would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle. Nobody died, but people died in Minneapolis. You know, people died in Minneapolis. And nothing happens, and nobody ever talks, and nothing happens to those people. But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance. And I'll tell you what.
True.
What about the cops that
True.
were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in. What about that? Look, nothing is perfect in life. But you have people from Minneapolis, you have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C. They were having fistfights and fighting with the police. They were spraying and destroying. They were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And
who cares about that? Who cares? Democracy? What? Capitol fighting? What? January 6th was terrible. What's this? Like, what is this? Where people were physically assaulting these people, but no word, no nothing. Okay, all right, yeah. There's definitely not a double standard here, and obviously, like when Democrats do it, yeah, they're held to the same punishments. Yeah, 100%, because everyone just knows about it, right? Is that right, Destiny? Yeah, like the left has just held to a much higher standard. Okay, all right, Destiny.
You can't have two systems of justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent, because they felt they couldn't win without...
Destiny made that retarded argument, by the way.
...doing that. And we're going to win our cases, and we're going to be vindicated, but I have to spend a lot of time on that, and money. That's what they want. After the election, they won't care. Although in my case, I think they probably will, because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before, and it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
What do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border. And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming in. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. I want people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down.
True.
I bring interest rates down. I bring inflation way down, so people can buy bacon again, so people can buy a ham sandwich again, so that people can go to a restaurant and afford it. Because right now, people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%. Right? She's agreeing to me. Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much. But it's true. Your grocery bills are up. And then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. You know, Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. But I'm against everybody having an electric car. Okay? I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline-propelled car. But, you know, we have more liquid gold.
So the electric thing, because I want to talk about this a little bit. The electric car thing, like, I like Teslas. But I don't like Teslas because they're electric. I like Teslas because Teslas are actually fun to drive. There's not a bunch of issues that you get with with other electric car companies. Like it's the infrastructure for other electric car companies are just not on the level of Tesla. Tesla makes the electric car experience like almost and basically just as good and convenient as a normal gas car. Like Tesla charging stations are so prevalent that they're actually they're actually universalizing it, making it so that other car companies, I think Ford already made a contract, like all the rest of their cars, they're going to be able to just connect to, and they're going to have the same connector that Tesla supercharging stations has, so that you can just go to a Tesla supercharging station to like charge up your Ford Mach-E or your Ford F-150 Lightning, which is amazing. So Tesla, Elon, you're making, instead of pandering and be like, oh, we want to make electric cars to do green energy, good thing, right? Planet Earth, save, right? Talking points, right? No, Elon's like, electric should be the future. He believes in electric being the future. He thinks the electric motor is superior to the combustion engine, which I 100% agree with that statement. The only issue is the gas tank is greatly more, the battery is greatly inferior to the gas tank. Gas tank is very simple, very quick and easy to make, very lightweight. You can put a lot of fuel in it and it burns very slowly. The battery is very complex, a lot of issues with it. It's very heavy, which kind of sucks for a transportation type vehicle. There's just so many issues with battery tech. Like battery tech and gas tank tech is just not one-to-one at all. Obviously, battery tech is worse than a gas tank. I'm talking about energy storage, basically. Batteries and gas tanks are the same thing when it comes to, like, they're both a type of energy storage. Combustion engines themselves versus the electric motor, which is what is the thing that you should be comparing to. Obviously, the electric motor is greatly lighter, superior, less moving parts, less wear parts, don't need to change oil. Oil doesn't go bad in an electric motor. It does use oil, but it's on a loop system where it just keeps lubricating the oil. The reason why the oil, you got to replace the oil in a gas engine is because the oil over time mixes with the ethanol and the gas and basically changes the chemical composition of the oil, making it less of a lubricant and more of something that doesn't lubricate anything. It needs to be changed. It needs to be poured out, changed, put in a new fresh lubrication into it. And then that's basically the main reason. Because there's too many moving parts in a gas engine to make it perfectly sealed so that nothing ever happens to it. It's just impossible, like physically. Electric motor, you have moving parts, but nothing is actually touching except for the gears. And it just uses electricity. It's way more efficient, even though the battery tech is just less dense. It doesn't produce a ton of heat, which is a pro and a con. Like if you, like in wintertime, the engine being super hot, you just use bleed off engine heat to heat up the cabin. An electric motor doesn't produce that much heat. Therefore, in wintertime, you kind of have to use more electricity to make heat in order to heat up the cabin. Or you could do what Tesla's doing and use a heat pump, which they decided to, like, they know that was an issue, that something that the engine does better than an electric motor. Well, it uses some of the heat from the electric motor, pumps it into the cabin, not enough. So it uses a heat pump, which is way more electric efficient than a resistive heating system where you basically just pump electricity through some really thin wires and produce a lot of heat. And then you blow air through those really hot wires, like basically producing heat that way, which is very energy intense. But Elon, being really smart and probably, I think, is the only electric car company on the planet that's using a heat pump system within their vehicles, which is basically an air conditioner in reverse. So instead of taking the cool air from outside, instead of taking the heat from inside the cabin and pumping it out of the car, which is what all modern AC units do, it's doing that in reverse. So it's taking the cool air that they can get outside the car and pumping it. No, it's taking the heat that's outside from the car and pumping it into the cabin. So if outside is very cold, it basically, and there's a lot of thermodynamics, it basically makes, do I have to go into AC and how that stuff works? I know how HVAC works, but like, it's a heat pump. If you don't know what a heat pump is, it basically just does an AC in reverse. I don't want to go overcomplicate this and go into like how it works. I know how it works, but it's going to become boring. Yeah, it's just a little bit too much to get into. So just believe me on that part. Just type in a heat pump, like an AC, and you'll see how it works. It does AC in reverse. So it pumps heat into the cabin and pumps cold air out of the cabin.
Gasoline, oil, under our feet than any other country, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs, and I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your jobs.
I think those are the 3 most important issues for our country right at this moment. 100%. Like, can you name any more issues that's going on within our country that we should probably putting a bit more information on? Like, this is a legitimate question. Like, throw it down in the comments below. Like, I think these 3 things are very, very important to like the future of our country at this moment. One of the most very important things. Like, I think 100%. Yeah.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So that is the last word. Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, very much. Great
Thank you,
honor.
Mr. President.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't even know that was the end. But yeah, this was pretty good. We went down a rabbit hole, and remember to like and subscribe and comment too. Thank you very much. But what do you guys think? This was interesting. I went down a whole rabbit hole on ChatGPT and how it literally refused to go through Kamala, like say that Kamala at least lost the bar at least once and did it twice. Like, it kept saying she only did it once and won it in a specific time, which she did win it in a specific time, but she didn't attempt it once, she attempted it twice. It just wouldn't admit that. That was kind of annoying to really listen to, I'm not gonna lie. But what do you guys think about this? This is pretty interesting. I really liked this interview. Like, it was very hostile, but you know, Trump took it like a freaking boss. Literally like a freaking boss. But yeah, so yeah, tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think about this? And thanks for watching.